So now it is a pleasure to go out and join John Scott, as his Wikipedia page says, a Canadian former professional ice hockey player. And he joins us on video chat today. We got a smile out of him already. Good morning, John. How are you?
What's up, Rod? How are you?
I appreciate you scrambling to get on the air, and I guess you're on your wife's phone and stuff. I appreciate this, John. Where are you right now? Where are you joining us from?
The bathroom in my house in Traverse City, Michigan, the only place that's quiet right now currently.
You got a lot of kids down there or what? What's going on in the world of John Scott right now?
We're getting ready for a little belated Thanksgiving dinner. My parents are driving in from St. Catharines, Ontario, so they'll be here in about an hour or so, and my wife is yelling at me to put the turkey in the oven. So
that's funny.
That's what's happening right now.
Yeah, you had your hands up. I thought with the hood, I thought it was a bathrobe because
didn't it look like it? Yeah.
For a second, and then you put the hands down, and it looks like a hood. So, go ahead,
John. Before we go any further, I want to say this. I want to thank our mutual friend Barrett Croft for lining this up, the head coach of the Trinity Western Spartans. Rolling through their league, by the way. Last I checked, unbeaten. So I guess you were just out there and talked to that club, and so he's the guy that connected us. Are you doing a lot of that? Like, what's your message to teams, and what are you doing post NHL?
Trinity Western's a good Christian school, so myself, am a Catholic. I was out there doing a talk to it's called the Spartan Foundation, so they raise money for that school because they're not, I guess, a public school, so they have to raise all their funds on their own to get scholarships and stuff. So I was out there giving a talk to fundraisers, the kids and stuff, and what a school they have out there in Langley, BC. It's incredible. But yeah, Barrett, he's a great guy, good coach. They're making the jump to the CIS next year, so I'll be watching them for sure.
Yeah, I think the CIS better watch out, as a matter of fact, for the Spartans. Right. And Barrett's a good Esteban guy, played at Briarcrest Bible College, and former Rider chaplain, too, by the way. So one thing I want to ask you, John, when I told our viewers that you were coming on earlier today, obviously the NHL All-Star Game came up, and you know what they all said? Most memorable NHL All-Star Game for them. These are from the fans that they can remember. It was so contentious, and you ended up being the MVP, obviously. Looking back, was that a tough thing to go through or not? Because you were getting heat from the league, you were getting heat from the media. What's your recollection about that years later?
Yeah, it was. When I look back now, it's nice. It's a fond memory, but at the time, it was really stressful and it's not ideal. Obviously, as a player, you don't want to cause too much distraction on your team, and it was just a huge distraction. Everybody, the media, the fans, everybody was all in on it. So I wouldn't want to do it again, but it ended up well. It ended up fantastic. But yeah, it was just such a weird circumstance that happened. The league got involved where I think they shouldn't have, and yeah, it was a mess. But it ended up good. So I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, you know what? I don't know how often you get asked about it. I mean, that's frankly the one thing you're probably going to be remembered for. And at the time, I was against it because, as you know, you were voted by the fans as a goof, as a spoof. You went to have fun. And it just showed how popular you were amongst other NHLers because you ended up being the star of the game. And you go down in history for that and for the publicity of the game, for marketing efforts. It ended up being the greatest thing. It really illustrates the difference between hockey operations and marketing, doesn't it?
I think it just showed how people don't know much about hockey. And they just think that I was a one-dimensional player, and much like other guys of my ilk, and they didn't think I could keep up or we were decent hockey players. And it does show that we are good hockey players. There's a reason we were in the NHL. And yeah, I was really good at fighting, but if I wasn't a decent hockey player, I would never have been there. And I know people disagree with that, but I hope that kind of put that argument to bed a little bit because, yeah, I'm sure you ripped on me a bunch, and I listened to dozens, if not more, people who just said I don't belong, this and that. And yeah, I know it was a fan vote, but I played in the NHL for almost 10 years. I must have been doing something right. It's not like I just went out there and fought every single game. So it's almost gratifying to hear people say that they didn't want me there and they thought it was a goof or a joke, because it's nice to kind of shove the words up your behind a little bit.
Well, of course, looking back, like I say, people say it's the most memorable thing of that particular All-Star game. Now, the other thing is, when I worked in the Dub for 17 years, I know that you can't get to the NHL if you can't skate, period. Bottom line, end of story. Because I knew a lot of goons in the Dub that couldn't skate. They didn't get to the next level. But you're over that, aren't you? You're not worried about what people think, I would think, about your career.
No, not at all. I'm secure with what I know I wasn't the most skilled player, but it is, it does rub me the wrong way still when people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, you didn't deserve it, this and that." It's like, well, give me 3 reasons why not, and it's just because it happens so often. Yeah, I'm secure with where I'm at, but it's always nice to get into a little conversation with someone who still doesn't. I don't want to say get it, but just disagrees with me. So I'm all for a healthy debate, and I love talking to people about why I think I deserved it and why I think Tough Guys, it was a good little recognition for them as a whole to show people that we are actually decent hockey players.
Hey, what made you settle in Traverse City, Michigan, by the way? I mean, when I wouldn't say I got to know you because we've never met, but I watched you in Arizona because I was spending a lot of time around the Coyotes at that time, and Dave Tippett's a good friend. Traverse City, Michigan. I know, great hockey town, but why did you drop your anchor there?
Well, I went to school at Michigan Tech, and I met my wife at Michigan Tech, and she grew up in Traverse City. So we came here for the summers a few years, and if you've ever been here, you don't want to leave because it's such a great beach town. They have more beaches than there is in California. So it's just a cool little beach town, and I don't know. I like it.
Good for you. Happy wife, happy life. Let's be honest.
That's
We all know that. And John, before we let you go, because I know you got to get the turkey in the oven, your message to the Spartans team, are you doing much of that? And if you don't mind, what is your message to young athletes and any groups that you speak to now post-NHL career?
Yeah, it kind of revolves around the idea of you just have to stay humble, and no matter how good you are or how bad you are, you just still have to work for things, and nothing is ever given to you these days. And it's hard for young kids to grasp that just because it's one of those generations where everybody gets a trophy. So I feel like you have to give them that message, like, listen, nothing's going to be given to you. You have to work for everything that you earn, and you'll get far if you just put the work in. So that's kind of the message I try to put across on most talks.
Good for you.
John, one for you just before we let you go. Their comment came up not that long ago that the fans here on the Facebook wall loved your interview on the Spit and Chicklets podcast. And it's funny, they're so big across the United States and it's coming into Canada. And we're kind of doing that same thing in Canada with our show kind of in this new media world, which is lots of fun. But I saw your video trying the pink lemonade. We've been drinking that stuff at Mosaic Stadium at Rider games, the pink lemonade with vodka, forever. So what is it about that stuff, and was it any good? Because it's selling out in the liquor stores like crazy here now that it's in Saskatchewan.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, it's not my cup of tea. Obviously, I'm more of a beer whiskey guy, like I said in my video. But I do a podcast too, Dropping the Gloves, and they sent us a bottle and we had to try it. So that's crazy. Good for them. It's just not. It's not my style, man. That's not what I drink.
Didn't you say that your wife would really like it? That's what
she would enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very fruity, sugary drink, and I would not be caught dead with that. That's just me.
Something that Ryan Whitney, he's good with it.
Yeah.
All right, John. Happy Turkey Day down there. Oh, look at that cutie.
Yes.
There you go. She's on television. We'll have to send her a screenshot. Hi.
Hi, somebody.
That's funny. All right. Well, perfect timing. John, we'll let you get back to the family. Appreciate the time and keep in touch if you don't mind. Glad things are going so
Bye,
great.
guys.
Hi.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hello. See ya.
Thank you.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.